Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about Spider-Man because apparently Spider-Man got another trilogy coming after the No Way Home movie in the MCU. Apparently Amy Pascal, one of the producers for Spider-Man No Way Home, states that no, this is not going to be the last movie that Peter Parker is going to have, Spider-Man is going to have, and they like that Marvel and Sony loves the partnership that they have, and they're going to continue Tom Holland Spider-Man in the MCU. I mean, that's great or whatever. So we're going to get more Tom Holland Spider-Man, and what I'm hoping for is more of a serious kind of Spider-Man. Like, whatever happens after No Way Home, I kind of want to see a serious, more grounded Spider-Man that's not so involved with the MCU itself. I mean, don't get me wrong, Spider-Man can be involved with the Marvel Universe, but he needs to have a Spider-Man movie that doesn't have any other MCU characters. He really doesn't. He really does. He really needs a Spider-Man, a standalone Spider-Man. And the next Spider-Man movies, I hope, will have him stand on his own without any help from anybody. That means Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, all of it. No other Marvel MCU hero should show up. The only MCU hero I would accept for Peter to show up is Miles Morales. Other than that, there should not be any other Marvel character that's not Spider-Man related at all. You get what I'm saying? And none of the Spider-Man characters need to be part of Tony Stark thing as well, because that's another thing that really bothers me with the Spider-Man movies. But basically, we're getting 3 more movies. Spider-Man, Marvel and Sony Pictures are pleased with the results they're getting, and they don't want to end the partnership now. And I guess Tom Holland's getting his wish, but it's kind of crazy because, 2 years ago he was talking about he hoped to play Spider-Man forever, and now there's like a different tune of if I'm playing Spider-Man all the way up until I'm 30, I might be a failure or something like that. No, bro, that's some success, and trust me, you better milk Spider-Man for all it's worth. But a good thing is that we're not getting a Spider-Man reboot at all. What will be cool is both the agreement that Sony and Marvel have together. They can still do Spider-Man movies in the MCU without really saying MCU stuff. You get what I'm saying? Because you already have Morbius, you already have Venom already, and you already have Craven in production, right? And at the end of Venom 2, we saw that Venom was kind of transported into the MCU, and the symbiote reacted to Peter Parker. So you got something right there as well. So Spider-Man versus Venom, if you want to. And no more home catchphrase would be lovely, to be honest. And with Tom Holland being Spider-Man, I'm gonna need Tom to pack on some muscles, and athletic muscles is what I meant. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we need to differentiate him from him being a high schooler to going into a college or something like that. So in order for that change to happen, he needs to start working out and looking like Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth. Not all the way, but you get what I'm saying. If you guys seen the 90s Spider-Man, the animated series, you've seen how that Peter Parker looks. That's the kind of Peter Parker physique that I think, he needs right now, because Tom still looks like a little schoolboy. And since he looks like a little schoolboy, you might as well keep him, you might as well tell him, hey, look, here's a stack. Here's how you're going to get I mean, not not roared it out or anything, but he needs some kind of muscle, if that makes sense. So that'll be kind of one of those things. And to be honest, guys, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it again. I hope Michelle Jones get the hell on. I really do. I don't like the character. She feels useless. Maybe we'll get the real Mary Jane Watson up in there. That would be lovely to see the real Mary Jane Watson. Besides some knockoff black version of the character that nobody asked for, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Zendaya, but if they're not going to let her be a woman, and if they're not going to let her look how she normally looks on the runway or on a red carpet premiere, then get rid of Michelle Jones. Like, I'm sorry, and no, I don't want to see the Somalian race bent Ned Leeds as Hobgoblin. You ruined that for me too. So you might as well come up with you might as well get another Hobgoblin. There are other people besides Ned that can be Hobgoblin. I'm sorry. I'm not about to sit up here and be like, oh yeah, Spider-Man's fake best friend that's based off of Miles Morales' best friend Genki is gonna be the Hobgoblin. No thanks. No thanks. I don't even want that to even happen. So, they can still be supporting characters. Well, Genki, I mean, not Genki, but Ned can still be a supporting character, but maybe with the whole No Way Home, maybe we can change up some of the characters. Flash Thompson definitely need to be changed because Flash has so much potential, but that Indian bullshit that you think I'm supposed to believe is supposed to be Flash Thompson, no thanks. No thanks. And then on top of that, the guy that's playing Ned Leeds, come on now. What Somalian is named Ned? None. Ned Leeds sound white as hell. So I don't even know what the hell y'all was doing. And Betty Brant, you mean Gwen Stacy? She looks like Gwen Stacy. Why is she not Gwen Stacy? Like, I'm just kind of confused on the fact that y'all tried the virtue signal so bad that you race swapped all of Spider-Man's iconic characters to where it doesn't fit the role, because those kids are going to have to grow up and have muscles and be taller than what they are. And a lot of them are already at the age where that's it. So you need to find people that can be those characters. You can keep Tom Holland, you can keep the guy who playing Ned Leeds all you want to, but everybody else gotta go. Everybody else gotta go. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Because for me, Michelle doesn't work. You haven't shown me enough of her, and even in this third movie, the trailers didn't show me enough. But it is what it is. And let me get back on a little bit of topic too, because I kind of went off a little bit. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because the whole Spider-Man getting 3 movies is Tom Holland had almost kind of like changed his mind about he doesn't know if he want to do Spider-Man, and he was thinking like maybe Miles Morales can take over and maybe they'll kill him off and then do Miles Morales or whatever. Even, a lot of people was like, oh, that shouldn't happen because Peter Parker will always be Spider-Man. And I'm just like, well, Miles Morales' original storyline is the death of Peter Parker, and it wouldn't really be a race swap of a Spider-Man character, because there's been plenty of other Spider-Man people taking over for the role of Spider-Man that were non-black. So, like it or not, guys, your racism is showing. If you really can't get over the fact that they might kill Peter Parker off. If Peter Parker does if Tom Holland as Peter Parker do 3 more movies and they kill him off, and then we get Miles Morales as Spider-Man, I'm not really about to sit up here and say no, to be honest. It works. It definitely works. Like, let's be honest. If the main continuity of Marvel killed off Spider-Man, the next best option would have been Miles Morales, because Spider-Gwen is a hell no. Ben Reilly and Kane Parker doesn't work because you had him as Scarlet Spider, and one of them is a massive killer and the other one is a clone of Peter Parker. So you have to get somebody that looks like Tom Holland again. Well, actually, you can get that new voice actor that they got to be face model to be Ben Reilly, I guess, if you want to go that route. And Spider-Man 2099 is in the future. Like, those are some of the most iconic Spider-Man characters, but even then, it's just not practical when you kind of think about it. So I say let's go for the Hail Mary pass and just go with Miles Morales. And y'all have to admit that Miles is probably the best diverse character that's been done, that has the mantle of another character that's from Marvel anyway. Y'all can say nah, all that kind of stuff, but you're lying. You're lying to yourself if you say that, oh no, he's just a knockoff of Peter Parker, because their stories are completely different. And if you say they're not, you a damn lie. You a damn lie, because it is. All of the Spider-Man stories are completely different except for Ben Reilly. Well, yeah, Ben Reilly, because he's literally a clone of Peter Parker and Kane Parker as well. So, you know, but they diverge a little bit. But y'all won't say that they're knockoff Peter Parkers, though. They're their own characters, let some of y'all say. Okay, but they're still damn Peter Parker, just with different names and how they went about being Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? So it is one of those things where it's kind of like, come on now, you guys. Let's not throw our racism out there when it comes to that kind of stuff. Let's give the boy a chance. He had a successful animated movie. Y'all can say, oh, it was overrated, or that's fine. That's fine. Just like some people will say Spider-Man 2 is overrated. You know what I'm saying? Or how some of us will say the MCU Spider-Man is overrated, which it is, to be honest. But it's proven that you can have a Spider-Man that's not Peter Parker. That was the testing ground. And y'all proved to Sony and y'all proved to Marvel that y'all can watch a Miles Morales story. I'm just gonna be honest, because I bet you there's gonna be probably a standalone animated Miles Morales movie, just to test that water out, test that theory out even further, just to see. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with the character. I really don't think anything's wrong with the character. But if Tom Holland does walk away from the role and Marvel decides to kill him, which, remember, the MCU is based off of the Ultimate Universe. That's another thing that a lot of people forget. In the Ultimate Universe, Spider-Man did die. And Miles Morales did take over the role of Spider-Man. So it's not like it's not in conjunction with what happened in the comic books. You know what I'm saying? So that means people can't really cry, oh no, this didn't happen. Well, technically, yeah, it did happen in the comic books, because the MCU is based off of 1610 Ultimate Universe. Most of it is based off of it, with a little bit of, with inspirations from Earth 616. Shocker. But this is why I said it's important for you guys to read these comic books. You know? Sorry about that. I think it's cool that we're getting more Spider-Man movies. Even if I'm not a fan of the MCU movies, I know how some people don't want to reboot. I just really wish they did this with Andrew Garfield instead of Tom Holland. I know it sounds terrible, but there was potential with the Amazing Spider-Man, and I just wish the executives at the time had just kept slowly building the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. And then what could have happened is, you know how you guys were talking about the whole Civil War thing? What should have happened is, instead of Tom Holland, you should have actually had Andrew Garfield Spider-Man show up and, you know, be on the side of Iron Man, if you know, whatever. But he wouldn't be no kind of sidekick or anything to him. It'd just be like, you know, Iron Man found Spider-Man and was like, hey, you the one who saved the city from that lizard thing, and then you saved him from that blue electro guy or whatever and stuff like that, because the Avengers weren't in New York City. So it's not implausible for Spider-Man to save the city without the Avengers being around. You get what I'm saying? So that could be something really kind of cool or whatever. And Spider-Man joins Iron Man because hey, he doesn't want people. He's kind of tired of people looking at him like a menace, probably. So that could be one of the reasons why he joined the team. That, like, at least that would have been more plausible, and in that way you can still do Amazing Spider-Man movies without having to reboot the character. But I mean, that's one of the cool blessings in disguises of, I guess, people won't have to get used to another Spider-Man. But it's just like, God damn it, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, the next 3 movies definitely need to separate him and have him a standalone character. Say what you want about the Amazing Spider-Man or the Tobey Maguire movies, the Sam Raimi trilogy. He was a standalone character. Like it or not, he was a standalone character, and I enjoyed the character being a standalone street character. Don't get me wrong, it's really cool when he does interact with other heroes from the Marvel Universe. That's great. But he's still such a solo character, especially when it comes to like the rest of the world. Like, you'll see Peter Parker mostly work with Spider-Man characters, like characters that are created in the Spider-Man comic books or whatever, that are like literally Spider-Man universe characters. That makes some sense, but just having him sniff up Iron Man's booty, I'm sorry, I just can't get behind that one. But hey, we're getting more Spider-Man movies, and apparently the ticket sales have crashed sites or whatever. I'm not doing that. I'm just going on opening night, and I'm just gonna buy a ticket like I normally do. I've done it for every Marvel movie. This includes Endgame as well. So I don't know what to tell you. Guys. I'm just kind of confused on, like, they talk about scalpers done brought a whole bunch of tickets, and they're even selling tickets for like $20,000 is the highest I've seen so far for Spider-Man tickets. Y'all done lost y'all goddamn ever loving mind if you think I'm about to drop that much money on a Spider-Man ticket. No thanks. I mean, yeah, I do have issues with the MCU Spider-Man. A lot. I have a lot of issues with the MCU Spider-Man. But maybe this No Way Home might change some things. All I know is that second trailer did not help anything at all. I was just like, what the hell is this? This did not get me excited. It actually turned me off. I was like, what is this? But I'm gonna still see the movie, of course. I saw the Far From Home one, and I thought Far From Home was a trashy ass movie, to be honest. But I still went to go see it. I still went and watched it, and it's only right to do the same with this movie, just because there's been teases in Michael Morbius and Venom where it looks like they're going to try to connect these characters, these movies together, but also separate them when they need to have them separate. Does that make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Are you guys excited that Tom Holland is getting 3 more movies? And what would you like to see for Spider-Man movies? I mean, for me, I'm fine. Like I said, as long as he's serious and as long as Tom Holland's willing to put on a little bit more muscle mass on him, and they're really willing to go more adult with the Spider-Man movies and no more home theme titles, and maybe introduce Miles Morales as his sidekick. He can still be Spider-Man, but he's his sidekick that people call Spider Kid or Kid Arachnid. I don't care. But they're going to call him Spider-Man anyway. So, you know, everybody let it go. I don't want to hear nobody in the comments talking about, but you can let that one go. It's never going to happen. Marvel is never not going to call Miles Morales Spider-Man. So you can already get that one out your heads. So get over it. Get over it. But I think if you tell a good story like you did with the Insomniac video games and show how Miles Morales can still be incorporated with the Peter Parker Spider-Man, oh yeah, most definitely this can work. This can work. And I don't hear nobody talking about it didn't work. Yeah, it worked. It works. It works. And especially with the Marvel Spider-Man 2 video game coming out, definitely. And I think it's great because think about it. We had Spider-Man for 70 years, yeah. And he, out of all his Spider characters, he really never had like a protege light type character that he actually heavily worked with. Like, sorry to say that, you know, Miles, when Miles came along and we went to the main continuity, that's the most I've seen Spider-Man hang out with another Spider person, like want to actually hang out with that character and teach them something. Because there's other Spider characters that he's been around or whatever, but usually he's kind of standoffish with the other Spider characters anyway. So it's kind of good that he has at least one Spider character that he can kind of be like, okay, this kid got something, and he's Spider-Man just like I am, and I'm gonna teach him the ropes, you know? And I don't see anything wrong with it. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.